Information uncensored.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a surprise edition of Tales from the Forlorn Hopes. Cybersmily.
I'm your co-host, Wisdom, and yeah, definitely a surprise, mostly due to my own incompetence as I completely forgot what day it was. But we're going to try and make this work anyway, and hopefully things will run smoothly. Before we get into anything specific, it's been a pretty busy last couple of weeks for you, my friend, as you have been to pretty significant Adepticon, nice little convention, and you played some Combat Zone.
Did with people I don't know. So for those who don't know, Adepticon is a convention. It used to be held in Chicago. Now it's held out in Milwaukee. Me and a buddy, my X-Wing fan, who wanted to go and play in a tournament. I've always kind of wanted to go to Adepticon because I have some miniature game love that I have. So him and me drove out there, 15-hour drive. Again, thought it was
Damn.
Yeah, it was fun. My buddy was like,
"No, I love
insane.
a road trip.
Yeah,
I don't get to do them anymore, but man, do I love them."
Yeah, so we got out there the Sunday before the con started. So the con started Wednesday night, technically. There was some pre-events happening there. So we got rolled in on Sunday. We took in the city. I think Milwaukee is a very cold city in March. I was told that this is not normal, but I thought it was freaking freezing and rainy all the time. So I think it was just bad luck on our part. But
Milwaukee.
Yes, but great food there. A lot of events to other outside of the con. There were quite a few around, and so. But we never got there. We just mentioned so. Monster Fight Club hosted a tournament for Combat Zone. I think there was a total of around 40 players. Wrong.
That's a pretty good turnout.
Yep. It was a 3-round tournament. So basically, I played 3 different people. My score was a 1 to 2 out of 3 games. So 1-1, lost 2. I wasn't surprised because I am rules. I'm still learning them. But I had fun nonetheless, even though the games I did lose. It was interesting to see the top players. One guy was fielding an Arasaka. I didn't get to play either of the 2 champions. Champions were 3-0 was their record, and then you also had to complete secondary objectives, and the top person actually scored 2 out of 3 per game, which was outstanding. He was running a Arasaka squad with a medtech. He just said a generic medtech. I didn't get all his details. We're Monster Fight Club, I think, is looking to do army lists on their Discord, so definitely check that out. The second place winner was a guy who's running the Bozos, and apparently did some crazy stuff, just like Bozos, and was able to win with that group. And then they also had the prize for the best painted group, which Doc something. Give me a second, I will look up the guy's name. But his army was just amazing. He was running a edgerunner unit, like
Nice.
David. They posted it somewhere. But anyways, yeah. So I was running Team Monster. Uh, Two players I did run against. I learned a lot, and I saw what mine were. So I think I've learned from that experience. Make a better team. I think definitely if you guys get into playing Combat Zone, you should be taking a look at armor. I think especially disposable armor, because that stuff preventing wounds is like key. The other thing is doing as much damage as you can to your opponent. So,
like like Madden always says, the key to winning a football game is to score the most points.
exactly. So each round of the event had different missions. So the first missions would secure objectives. And there was 4 objectives on the board. 6 objectives. Oh wait, he did score 4. So I think there was 6 objectives on the board to acquire. My opponent was able to get to them. Our first kind of round of activations was us just duking it out, and then I realized that's not going to win this game. To win this game, you need to capture all the objectives. So that's when I started moving in there, and the opposite player started realizing that. So he quickly decided, yeah, I'm gonna do what you're doing. So he was able to score a lot more points quickly. The next scenario was what was the next scenario? It was to basically kill each other. So that was a little easier. However, the guy I played against, second loss, he had this card basically that would allow the a weapon that basically did a burst effect and would cause like massive amounts of damage. And instead of using range attack, they were using your tech skill, which he just had his netrunner do all that stuff. So
yeah,
he just he wiped me off the board very quickly. And then the third round, I was able to. It was similar that you had to kill, but you had to kill specific people with tokens. So I was lucky enough to kill people with the tokens that you were supposed to kill within the time. So, and I was playing against. So the first guy I was playing against, he was running lawmen. The lawman dogs are just pain in the butt. The second guy, he played like a bit of a combination. He had some some Arasaka, he had Lucy part of it, and a couple other mercenaries. So the rules didn't really abide by the campaign rules. They were kind of just written up. And then the last guy I played was Tiger Claw. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I wish I took more pictures. I am not very photographically inclined. I think my photo and film skill is probably a 1, if not a 0, and my tech ability is probably around 6, maybe 7. So
my remembering to take a picture at any given moment is like in the negatives.
Yeah, and that's
I mean, it's funny because we all carry cameras everywhere I go, but man, I forget that it's on me completely.
Yeah, so Monster Fight Club did take some pictures. They posted on their Discord. They're probably going to post it on their site. Uh, so go check that out. Also learned that Monster Fight Club, they are creating a new system of buildings called Metropolis 2.0.
Oh, I saw that. That looks amazing.
So it's all,
Expensive, but amazing.
yeah. So it's all configurable. And how they're going to configure it is you can actually use their cardboard that will integrate with their um, cargo or container city, right?
Hmm.
That they build out. Yeah. So the container city was just massive.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was chef's kiss. I mean,
Yes. Even nice when you were actually looking at it and taking it apart. Um, so that's coming, and with that, they also announced that they are going to be bringing nomads as a faction in Combat Zone.
about damn time.
Don't know if I assume it's going to be their Aldecados, maybe some other clans, and they're also bringing in Militech. So
See, yeah, again, about damn time.
yep.
So, okay, you played Combat Zone in a I don't know if the professional is the right term, but in a practiced setting with people who know what they're doing.
Yes.
Um, how long did each game generally take?
Um, so the first game it took us to time, which was around an hour and 15 minutes. Uh, and some people were done within seconds, or not seconds, but within 20 minutes. Some
Oh,
were not,
damn.
right? So I think it was all dependent upon the faction you were running. And what objectives you were trying to get, right? So each scenario. So like I said, there's three missions, and each mission had three secondary objectives, right? Which at first I didn't quite. My I guess my brain wasn't comprehending because of um the now Milwaukee. Let's just say Milwaukee is a good town for going out and good time.
Yeah,
A lot of breweries there.
I
But
mean,
yeah, so at first I didn't understand the goal of the game. I was just there to have fun. Then I kind of like halfway through the first game, I was like, oh yeah, this is maybe I should start paying attention to what I need to do to win.
I
Which
mean, when it comes to things like that, the only way I can ever really learn it is to play it.
right.
Uh,
So
and like I can stare at the rules all day, but until I get someone else there who's also stared at the rules all day, I'm not ever going to actually have a working relationship with that game.
right. Well, does your brother play war games or no? Not a fan.
No, uh, we used to play board games and stuff together all the time, but with his epilepsy,
Right.
it's become difficult.
Got it. Well, so someday when we hang out, I'll bring the board and some armies with me, and we'll go
Amen to
head to
that.
head. Um,
So
Go ahead.
you said there was a guy won for best painting. Where a lot of people bringing their own stuff in for it.
Yeah, I don't. I would say, I mean, I didn't see any gray on the table. One opponent I did play against, he had one or two models that were unpainted, but the majority of his force was painted. The two previous guys, all of their stuff was painted, um, and pretty good quality. I, I would say I definitely want to learn a little more of the Tiger Claw guy's technique. Um, Lauren, I think his name was. Like that.
So did you show up with your painted stuff, or were you
Yes.
like the odd
Yep.
man out?
Yeah, I
Oh, you
had.
went all in.
Yeah, I some of the pictures on my Discord. I think I've shown. So
Yeah, no, I've seen your painted
yeah,
miniatures. I just didn't know it could be like transporting them.
yeah, that's why we drove out.
That
So
makes sense.
so we did not want to go on a plane because yeah, so once we got
Don't.
there, I did a little bit of painting on some other miniatures, and I dropped 2 miniatures on the uh, apartment floor, and both of them were like just broke immediately as soon as it hit. Like I was very surprised at how fragile these minis can be.
Really? I mean, was it like hardwood or?
Well, it was concrete. It was some type of
Oh,
concrete. It was
even
we
still, I mean, they're plastic. I wouldn't think they'd weigh enough to
they're
break.
resin, so it fell the right way. Um, I
I
mean,
guess that's
yeah,
crazy.
I mean, so the miniatures I have, I also put in like some magnets in the bottom, which shouldn't cause it
Ah,
to I mean, it'll cause it to fall faster because there's a little more weight behind it. Um,
that's some next level thinking there.
yeah, so basically, the boxes I have like metal washers that I just attach the miniatures to with the magnets, so they stay
Yeah,
upright in the box, and I don't have to worry about too much unless I slam it around. But you know, accidents happen. But overall, yeah, like yeah. So one of my opponents was like, "Oh man, I hadn't," because he was using a proxy for one of his. Like, yeah, look, I mean, he showed it to me, and it was like in the pieces because of going through the airport. I understand, man. These things are fragile. Um,
yeah. I mean, I have zero experience with painting miniatures. I would love to get into that. Um, but holy crap, is that intimidating to stare down?
it is, especially with older eyes. Um,
Yeah, and I mean, most of my role playing experience, like even if we did use miniatures, we just used unpainted ones
yeah,
because most of the stuff we did was all theater of the mind stuff.
yep,
Uh, I didn't even start using like battle maps until like the mid 2000s.
yeah.
Basically, when I built my game table, that's when because it was the surface was all gridded out. That's when we started doing things like that.
Yeah, I mean, like from a gaming point of view, we didn't really use miniatures um too much, except for like marching order or some
Yeah,
portions like that. But then we just go to theater of mind with combat. I know some
yeah,
people would be like, "How do you know what distance you are?" And I was like, "You just fudge it." Guys around medium range, or this guy's like 20 feet away from you. So it was kind of a little
you're in
bit
an
of
alley. He's right
yeah,
in your face. What you gonna
exactly,
do about it?
exactly.
Yeah, that's the way we played for the majority of my role playing experience.
And I think with D&D 3.30, right? Third edition
Yeah, with third edition,
3.5.
when they started making cheap, easily accessible minis and giving us battle maps with
Well, they
every
also wrote the rules to be more miniature oriented,
yeah,
which I think was probably a marketing strategy to help sell miniatures and get, or at least not necessarily uh, Wizards of the Coast making the miniatures, but Wizards of the Coast licensing out someone else to make
yeah.
the miniatures, right?
I
Um,
still to this day wish they had done like modern minis, like for their D20 modern lines.
yeah,
I think that was a missed opportunity because I love those little pre-painted plastic minis. I think those things are great. I think that was a brilliant idea. Um,
they still do it. I think mostly for Pathfinder.
yeah, and I mean Dungeons and Dragons, like they still release stuff. Hasbro just released like some really cool set. I forget what it was about, but they still release sets and they're still beautiful. They've gotten much more expensive though.
Yep. Yeah, so I also picked up the 3 new gangs for Combat Zone. So I got the Piranhas, the Wild Things, and Sixth Street. Um,
Oh, that's
yeah, Wild Things definitely are a precursor to the animals. They,
yeah. I mean, that's the one I would have wanted the most is the Wild Things, just because I mean they're straight 2020.
which is odd because looking at like the profile or the picture of the Wild Things in the Night City source book, you look at him and you're like, oh, that guy is strung out, probably weighs 50 pounds when wet.
Yeah, like in 2020, they were definitely a Dorfer gang. They weren't somebody I'd really want to field in combat. They were the kind of
Yeah,
come out of the shadows and strip your car for drug money kind of things.
right. And more drug addicts that we see today who are strung out versus dwarfs or basically testosterone mega monsters.
Yeah, not like the combat drug types like Maelstrom or Slaughterhouse or anything like that. They're
Yep,
just your junkies. I mean,
yep. The Wild Things definitely going to have some interesting colors to paint them up. One of the Wild Things has a Misfits jacket on, which I
nice.
thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's pretty fitting.
Yeah, but I don't know if they can really legally do that with the licensing. But they can just say it's a skull.
Maybe it says Myth sits. That's it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so overall, so the tournament I believe is going to be annual. So I think they're going to be continuing to do that every Adepticon. I also talked with them. So last year, Monster Fight Club went to PAX Unplug. They don't think they're going to be doing that anymore just because of the logistics of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's
So
pretty far out there.
yeah, so they're probably the main cons they're going to be is um, Adepticon, Gen Con. They I asked about Origins, and they said they possibly will go that. I don't know if they would be attending. So I'm thinking of another miniature specific con, which is the Las Vegas Open. Um, yeah, and I don't know if there's any other major.
Interesting strategy, Cotton. Let's see how that works out for them.
Yeah. So yeah. So
Imagine
overall,
they'd show up at GaryCon.
uh, possibly I don't. But the thing is with Gary Con, I don't know if Gary Con is wargaming, right?
I would assume that there's at least some part of it is because I mean that's where Gary started out.
Well, Gary.
I don't know anything about it because I don't go to gaming
Yeah.
conventions. I can't
So
afford them.
Gary Con was created by Gary's children, right? So
Yeah,
after Gen Con left Lake Geneva and they moved down to Milwaukee,
they
basically,
decided to keep things going in
yeah,
Geneva.
Luke decided um, to host the con there. First, I know, at least in the beginning, it was a very small con and it was mostly role playing. I don't know if there was any um, or gaming going on,
Eh,
but seeing as I haven't
either
gone, I
way,
don't know.
yeah, it sounds exciting. I'm glad you got to play. Sounds like the guys at CD or at Monster Project were pretty cool. Um, did you get to talk to any of them about possibly maybe an interview or so?
Yes, so like with their Kickstarter, we're going to try to arrange closer to where when they start putting out the Kickstarter and the other gangs. So I'm going to have them try to join us prior to that.
Oh, that would be amazing.
So I am in contact with Audrey, A number one over there. A is on for them, so I'm going to try her and see what Mac or John for an interview.
Yeah, that would be awesome because we love their work.
Yep. And also, I got kind of an official blessing from them on getting an army builder, which I already have up on my site. Right now, a bit of a prototype. Look under apps and underneath Cyberpunk Red apps. Thing called Army Builder. Understand that this is this is still in the basic form. There's quite a few bugs that need to iron out, and it doesn't have all the various cards, which is something I forgot to ask team listings of the, so that way I can plug it in. But as of right now, I'm going to try to just do a manual upload of the data that I
That's
did
beautiful.
previously. So
That's very exciting.
site is now all tabletop cyberpunk stuff. What else did I see there? There was some other cyberpunk miniature game. Really kind of cursory went through. Some of the miniatures were pretty interesting. I didn't get to learn any of necessarily the combat of it, just because I have very limited funds and I don't need more addictions in my life.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, there's some interest there from different companies. Cyberpunk themed aesthetics. So,
Well, speaking of officially licensed stuff, was the Cyberpunk Red board game represented there at all?
no. So I don't even think CSOM was. Because Adepticon, even though it had a board game room, it's not necessarily
It's mostly miniatures, yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of
Wargaming stuff, yeah.
And just an FYI, they had Golden Demon there. You know, you
Who's
look at
that?
Golden Demon is sponsored by Games Workshop. It is kind of like the ultimate painting competition for miniatures.
Ah,
And basically, there's all the various categories, and the overall winner gets the Slayer sword. Those miniatures, even though you're looking at them, because all the pictures you see online of just how gorgeous they are, it takes it to another level when you're actually seeing how small it is.
like with your own eyes,
yeah, with all the details. Yeah, like I posted a couple of pictures on my own Discord of this one model I thought was amazing with the detail on a Damascus sword. Just the detail on the pattern of the sword for a Damascus.
Okay, I'm assuming we're not talking about an actual sword.
No. This was a little miniature. You know, I think it was probably. From guessing on the size, it was probably a 48 millimeter miniature.
Okay.
For scale wise, and yeah, so the sword was tiny. But yeah, some of the stuff was just. They did.
If it's Game Workshop sponsored, does that mean they require like everything be Game Workshop's paint and all that?
So there was other.
Fuck Games Workshop. No, that's some bullshit.
Yeah, well, there was other. There were other companies that were also doing their own competitions. There, so there was, when you went into the vendor hall, there was a booth or two that some of the miniature companies had that you could compete specifically for them. But the thing is, like, it did not compare to how many entries were for games, the Golden Demon Games Workshop.
Yeah, no, I mean, I very much should probably not have said that. I mean, Games Workshop makes a beautiful product. Just the idea of putting on such like self-serving as a contest. I don't know.
Well,
Chaps me wrong, I guess. That and because I have experience with buying Game Workshop paints and they are not cheap.
no, they are
Uh,
not. If anybody wants my opinion, I actually Vallejo. They're a bit cheaper. Army Painter is also a good product. They're a little cheaper as well. I just don't like the thinness of Army Painter when putting it to the model. So again, you always want to experiment. And yeah, I mean, Games Workshop paints aren't even what those painters who are competing in Golden Demon use. They're using other brands and.
oh, I mean, I thought you said that they had to use Games Workshop paints.
No, they had to use. So they have to have Games Workshop miniatures.
Okay. Well, then in that case, I rescind my fuck you. Sorry.
Because
well,
they don't know what paint you use, right? Unless
Sure.
they do lab work to figure out the consistency or chemistry of it.
I've never really painted miniatures before. Every time I've tried, it's come out looking like a sloppy mess.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna try on the miniatures that mean anything to me because, well, they mean something to me. But I did used to, get like toy guns and shit like that and make props and paint them.
Yep.
And the Games Workshop, the flat black can of spray paint they had, was the most amazing black I've ever used, and I loved it. But it was like this tiny little can for like $10.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why.
And that was
people go
20 years ago.
Rust-Oleum.
Yeah, that was my go-to.
So, but yeah, overall, I loved it. I would like to see some more Combat Zone being played there. Again, it was just a half a day event on Saturday. So hopefully it'll start growing as the community continues to grow. It was a nice turnout. See like 40 people. I know.
Yeah, I mean, for a smaller niche game to have that kind of representation at a wargaming convention, it's nice to see.
Yep.
That means the game is making an impact.
Yeah, like my buddy, he was he did X-Wing, just basic practice runs with a tournament on Thursday. Said that there was around 140 people playing in that tournament, and that was just for X-Wing. And you had also Armada, Legion, and Shatterpoint, all with their own tournaments. And it was
there was
crazy.
a very short-lived Robotech like miniature war game type thing that I have never wanted outside of Cyberpunk. I have never wanted to buy miniatures more and been completely unable to find them because I live in
Oh yeah, so I was able to find them and I did buy them, but I bought them specifically from BattleTech.
Sure, I get that.
Because they're the same size.
I would have just bought the aircraft versions of stuff because I mean I love me some Valkyries.
Yeah, when that game fell apart, you basically it was like because of Golden. What was their name? Harmony Gold.
Oh yeah, Harmony Gold and their bullshit.
So Harmony Gold pulled the licensing from that game, and basically said you have 2 months to unload all of your stock. And amount of miniatures that hit the market from there, it was insane. The costs. It was like $10 for a package of like 4 of their mechs, and they're high quality.
And I missed out on that shit completely. All I wanted were some Valkyries.
Dude, they were a pain in the butt to put together because they were not like one pieces. They were like at least 20 pieces I think was the most simplest one. And you're
Sure.
talking about, but you're talking about the same size as like a miniature, like a BattleTech miniature.
Yeah.
To have that many pieces for just that size of a miniature is ridiculous. Anyways, so yeah, so Adepticon was fun. So learned about the Nomads coming and Militech. There might be one or two other gangs that will be making an appearance. Right now, Monster Fight Club is more or less concentrating on getting the vehicle Kickstarter out the door. So I did not hear necessarily a full ETA on that, but they said it'll probably be Q3, in which
Okay.
they will start.
I mean, those things look amazing. The
Getting
images
closer.
I've
Yep.
seen. Did you see any? Did they have any examples like on display or anything?
They didn't have any of the motorcycles. They did have the Aerodyne. So the
Okay.
Aerodyne looked fantastic. So yeah, definitely looking forward to them. And they also had some of the C-Swap minis there.
Ooh.
So yes, definitely look forward to. The one thing I don't like about Kickstarter is, okay, I just spent a lot of money, but nothing in my hand to play with.
And I won't for like two years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the
Yeah, no, the one and only Kickstarter I did was for Combat Zone. And that was when I had disposable income. Now I just look at that stuff and be like, man, even if I could afford it, I can't afford it because I can't like just wait that long.
Yeah, and that's the other problem is, the Kickstarter isn't out with. I think for that Kickstarter, they did the Kickstarter and then they added the 3 new gangs for Combat Zone at the same time, and I'm like, what are you doing, guys? I mean, I already just dropped X amount of money on the Kickstarter, and then you have to make me like see 3 more gangs at it.
Yeah, why is this not being added as a stretch goal? Come on.
Exactly. So, and then deal with the new Cyberpunk 2077 shenanigans.
Yeah, as beautiful as that game looked and looks. I'm glad I didn't kickstart that.
Well, I did, just because I think it seems like it every time you play it, it's a different, which is nice. Have like campaign, so you could treat it kind of as a way tabletop video game, from the looks of it. But I didn't like what they were doing, shenanigans. Just adding those. Oh, there's a new stretch goal. But you have to pay $150 more for it to get it, and get this one miniature that's exclusively for this level, for this tier. It's like, no, you put out all the tiers in the beginning so a person knows how much money they're gonna have to spend during the campaign.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Is I spend this money now, you give me the good groovy stuff, and
stretch
you get enough
goals
people
are not
giving you men.
Yeah, and stretch goals are not oh, you have to pay more. I mean, yes, you could unlock add-ins. Yes, you could say that, but stretch goal. They 2 days before the campaign ends, just add in, oh, we got this now Trauma Team expansion that you must have. I forget what they at the end. Like, give me 2 days to decide whether or not I want to put in another. I think it was like $75 into it. Which,
Jesus.
What? Yeah, it was like ridiculous. I'm like, well, and if you spent that $75 extra, you would also not only get the expansion that they added, but also another exclusive campaign miniature. I'm like, yes, sir.
One miniature.
Yeah, that was kind of.
Yeah, that's some shenanigans, all right.
Bullshit. Whereas like Monster Fight Club is, hey, you guys, we'll do expansions, and don't worry, you'll eventually be able to buy it, right? Um, After everyone gets their
Yeah,
Kickstarter, and we decide to put it out, they do not they do not make it exclusive, right? So like when I went to Gen Con and they had the con exclusive Machiko, um, they now are offering her on the site. So it took a little while for them to bring that mini to the site. So you can now buy it. And even though it was a con exclusive for a year, maybe 2 years, they eventually bring it to the public, which, like CSOM,
I respect
they're.
that. I despise, no matter what it is, I despise like exclusive items that you have to be here at this time to get this object. It's the only way it's ever going to be released.
Well,
Like,
that's what
hell.
CSOM did with the Night City. Night City gangs in
Yeah.
Night City. They had exclusives that you could only get through the Kickstarter, and they never offered it outside of the Kickstarter, which is kind of, I don't know. It's plays into the FOMO, right? And sure, it's a little bit of a advertisement, but if you're a fan, now you got to go hunting it, and then you're gonna have the secondary market who's gonna, you know,
Jack the prices
yeah,
way up. And
exactly. Why am I paying $200 for a box that only costs the Kickstarter people $10? Yeah,
yeah.
and that's the other thing with like CSOM and Night City Gangs. I was hoping that they would do more expansions, but 2 years and not a peep from them. So
Nothing.
I don't know if it's just a thing that they expired or just did a quick money grab with Gangs and Night City.
I mean, that's three different like tabletop IPs that are licensing agreements that have gone out. And at some point, I would imagine people are like, I can no longer tell which one's for which.
Yeah.
Like it's weird to have basically three different board games based on the same property. Because regardless of anything else, Cyberpunk 2077 and Cyberpunk Red, when it comes to like making a board game, it's the same thing.
Yeah. But like with Night City, Gangs of Night City, when this was pre Phantom Liberty, so it's it was a while ago that this one came out.
Yeah,
2022, I think. But when CDPR put out Phantom Liberty, they should have put out a Phantom Liberty expansion, right?
agreed.
But I think they just gave up on the product. I don't know. Our money and set it up didn't make enough, so we're not gonna invest in it. Whereas this other company, with the Cyberpunk 77 board game,
Yeah,
with that game, those guys made a crap load of money on their
yeah,
crowdfunding.
because they jumped in both feet. They didn't
Well,
half-ass it.
well, I also think they got a lot more support from CD Projekt Red, um, because they hosted that company on their Red stream, right?
Yeah,
So there was kind of a little bit of like a thumbs up or a head nod from CD Projekt Red saying, "Yeah, these are our boys." Whereas CSOM did not get that. Um, and yeah, so like the CSOM, I think they raised 1,000 game versus Cyberpunk 2077 board game for $1 million.
yeah. I mean, a lot of that also I think has to do with the name, like Cyberpunk 2077. It's obvious what that is.
Well,
Um, People are going to recognize it instantly. Gangs of Night City, not so much.
well, it was Cyberpunk 2077 Gangs of Night City. Oh, sorry.
Hmm.
The Cyberpunk 2077 board game made 9.5 million.
That's some chunky change right there.
DSOM less than that. I know they did not make 1 million. A third of the backer. Gangs of Night City made 880,000.
Ooh.
Less than a tenth of these other guys.
Well, that shows the difference in the marketing budget.
Of course, you look at combats. Ooh. Making that much. They made only 300,000.
Yeah, but I mean, I put their. Now, it's true. I have not had my hands on any of the Cyberpunk 2077 board game stuff or the Night City gang stuff, but like the product output for Combat Zone is just, I don't know. I think it's fantastic. I can't say it's superior to anything else, but I mean, it is what I chose to spend my money on.
Yep. Yeah, and I think, I don't know, maybe the marketing. I don't know. But
I think the real thing is Combat Zone is Cyberpunk Red, and it had the backing of Artel Saurian. And then Cyberpunk 2077, the board game, obviously had the full backing of CD Projekt Red, which is an entirely different beast.
Right.
Like, that is an international thing, and yeah, it does. The number differences don't really surprise me, as opposed to what they were able to raise beforehand.
Oh, that was it. I see the strategies that aim for. Oh, go on board. So if you go to GameFound, to the GameFound has the new board game. That was where they had an all-in Cyberpunk 2077, the board game, for $299. 2 days later, or whatever amount of time passed, they then had another all-in for $399. And then
Jesus.
they had right before to get an exclusive miniature, which is basically the jumping out of the Porsche and using blades to kill a guy, which was called "Give Me Everything" for $545.
Holy Christ!
Right, so I went in at 300. They went up to 400. Then they went up to 550. Then they went up to 700 for the all everything.
That's ridiculous.
And that was like a day before the thing closed. So it was, yeah, like these last give me everything all in. All of the later ones above 300 were added right before the campaign was ending, which was, I was like, "Ugh, I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, I would absolutely love to get my hands on this, but I'm never going to
I
pay
want to
that
get
kind of
my
money
hands
for
on it,
anything.
but I'm not going to deal with this company ever again. For that shenanigans.
Yeah,
Like that
that's kind
is.
of foul. That's again, I would love to get my hands on it because maybe it's worth it. I don't know.
I mean, the miniatures
Um,
look good, but I think they're not going to be compatible with Combat Zone. I think they're going to be a little too big.
oh yeah, see if they're not compatible with Combat Zone, because CDPR's like they're also the official makers for Cyberpunk Red, so they're like, and their minis are in scale with the old Cyberpunk 2020 miniatures, and in scale with the majority of miniatures being put out today. To release them at a different scale and like charge that much, yeah, I can't get down with that action.
Yeah. So.
Seeing as how the primary reason I would ever want the game was to use it with my Cyberpunk 2020 games. Like
Yeah.
just use it. I just want the miniatures.
Well, I do play board games, so I.
Oh, no, so do I. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. I would still play the board game.
Right.
But like anything else, the primary reason I'm buying it is to supplement my role playing game.
Yep. So yeah.
Like Combat Zone is great, from what I can tell, and from what you've experienced live, it sounds amazing. But the number one reason I bought it was still to use the miniatures in my other games.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's the one thing about with that, and even CSOM, right? So CSOM's game, they had the 32 millimeter. So that board game has almost all the characters from 2077 that you can use, and I'm wondering if that's the reason why this particular board game is using a bigger scale miniature, because CSOM
You don't want to
already
double
has,
up.
yeah.
That would make sense. Like it kind of kills any interest I have in it, but like no, it doesn't kill any interest. But between that and their price, like the chances of me ever being able to do anything is slim to none.
Right.
Maybe if I win the lottery or some shit.
Hey, I heard there's some rich guy giving $1 million out for votes.
Yeah, but then I gotta vote. I still have some integrity, and I'm not gonna take that money for that vote. Nope.
Yeah, so we'll see.
On the plus side, with the way the world's going, maybe we'll get like Body Lotto, and I can throw down some money on that.
There you go. How many people are gonna die from infectious diseases this year? Anyways.
Yeah. Very depressing.
Yeah, so that was his Adepticon. Talked a little bit about the game board. FYI, we don't have a topic because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it tonight, and kind of lost track of this whole episode. But next episode we do have a guest, someone from the community who will be joining us. I'll leave it as a surprise. But the other thing, yeah, we're gonna get to talk to somebody besides ourselves.
It's been a while.
Yeah, the other thing is the 12 Days of Cutie Mouse.
Yeah, the new DLC, the monthly DLC from Artel Sorian dropped on April 1st.
I have yet to go through it, just because I just back.
It's fun.
So my understanding is it's basically cartoon based. Hello Cutie, which I assume is Hello Kitty.
I mean, yeah.
Sanru is a firearms and rights holder company based out of Japan and North America. They are best known for their Hello Cutie line of weapons and gear that are so adorable they'll bleed pink. Found by
Yeah,
ex-bankers
it's
from Fujiwara and ex-weaponsmiths from Tsunami Arms.
which is a nice little shout out to 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, this stuff is it's adorable. Like, I'm not gonna lie, for weapons of destruction and bloodshed and mayhem, it's pretty darn cute.
And doing it in a very cute way.
Yeah, I
But
would have liked to have seen some images to go along with the stuff. Um, like the mod ball gun, like that sounds awesome.
yeah, again, like Jay has said, art is expensive.
Art is expensive.
DLCs, I don't think are gonna, because they give it away for how much?
Zip.
Zip. So therefore, I don't think they're going to necessarily spend too
Now,
much.
maybe when it gets added into this year's interface, we'll get some art. They don't usually
That's
do
true.
that. It would be nice.
I thought they did. At least for their news section. They might add one or two pieces. But yeah, so when I first got to the first weapon, which is the
The grenade.
Captain Cuttlefish Ultra Snag'em. When I first saw that, I'm like, Cuttlefish. I know Cuttlefish of Cthulhu. But I don't think they're talking about that unless they're paying a little homage to War.
No, they're definitely throwing some cute cartoony characters of cuttlefish. Uh, I don't think they're talking about Venture Brothers either. But
Venture Brothers had
yeah,
Cuttlefish?
Venture Brothers had a scientist who was part manatee. I
Oh,
think his name was like Dr. Manatee, who
yes.
who had genetically engineered cuttlefish.
That's
I
right.
have cuttlefish.
That's right.
I can never hear about cuttlefish without thinking about that. Dr. Evil was so very disappointed.
You see, I'm calling back to
Or the Monarch, not Dr. Evil, the Monarch.
so those who were old school fans of Guar.
I am a humongously old school fan of Guar.
So you know what the Cuttlefish of Cthulhu is.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely know what that is.
Because I was like, oh, this is a
I think
melee
I've seen
weapon.
Guar in concert more than anyone else, actually, as weird as that is. But they used to come through Lawrence, Kansas, and Warrensburg, Missouri, like twice a year.
Yeah, they would.
Little college towns.
Well, they would go to New York, and that was the one time I actually got to see them. Yeah. Mr.
Now I got to see him in tiny little clubs. Very.
Nice.
Oh man.
So you got drenched.
They're like, oh Jesus, dude. Younger audience members may want to like earmuffs, cover their ears, go make a sandwich or something. This was in the early to mid '90s when I would go see him, and at one of the shows, we made it all the way to the front of the stage. Like it was in a tiny venue in Warrensburg, Missouri. And we made it to the front of the stage, and just as I get there, me and my friend Climenstra, otherwise known as Guarchick,
Yep.
like turns around, drops to all fours, and with geyser-like force, menstruates all over the crowd, including right into our faces, like from point-blank range.
Oh.
It was It was an experience. I think I've still got a pair of that was 30 years ago. I've still got a pair of um, Etnies that the laces are still pink.
Oof. Oof. Ooh.
Yeah, it was an experience. Let me tell you.
They were very interesting.
Yeah, I loved Guar when I was in the. I still love Guar. I haven't listened to any of their new stuff. After about mid sometime in the late '90s, I guess their old costumes just got too worn out and beat up. So they tried to remake them,
Mm-hmm.
and they just never looked as good. They look too clean and shiny. Odorous Among Us looks best when he literally looks like he's been rolling around in garbage. And for some reason, like the stage show didn't appeal to me as much anymore. It was too. They got too popular. It got cleaned up. They started appearing in movies and shit. Uh,
Well, then they started
I don't
doing
know.
Fox News, which I was.
Yeah,
Anyways, yeah. So that's what I kind of saw with whenever I see cuttlefish.
cuttlefish. Yeah,
Odorous's
yeah, that makes sense.
appendage.
Yeah, his appendage. That's a good word for that. Appendage. Um, much safer than my description of Clemenska.
But yeah, so it looks like the April Fool's actually is useful. Um, and one thing that I was wondering about probably isn't a callback, but the hello cutie, my friend the ocelot. So I wondered if that was a homage to Gary Ashford or not.
Oh, you mean Astleford?
Yeah,
Good old ocelot?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive that's exactly what that is.
If not, we gotta get
You
Gay
should
on
probably
that
get him
call.
on the show and ask him, like, "Hey, Gary, what's going on? What do you think about this?" Um, but I should probably look closer into this. I didn't have much. I wonder if that's the only.
Because it doesn't mention him by name.
No,
I don't know if that was like a little Easter nugget that they put out. Um,
I mean, I didn't even catch that. Like, good catch.
yeah, page 6.
Uh,
So, yeah, a loyal feline that will never leave you undefended. My friend the ocelot is all the fun of an interactive digital pet in the form of a powerful home defense solution.
I mean, that definitely sounds like something that would have appeared on his site. I like the Jonah Hex reference with Janice Hex, the
Yep,
Hello Cutie Janice Hex. Um,
Thundercat bat.
the Thundercat bat. Uh, I mean, really, like, I kind of flirted with the idea of this kind of thing
Yeah.
with Edgerunner fashion. Uh, with one of the things I wrote for Datafortress, where it was just, we're gonna have this like girly craziness, uh, but they have gone full in, and now I'm inspired. Because I can see that. I can see in a world where you're selling handguns out of vending machines, I can definitely see like cutie, like cutesy entire lines of weapons and uh, other equipment that just are going to appeal to that. Like some edgerunners are into that kind of thing. You're
Piranhas.
gonna find them. I mean,
Danger
the,
Gals. Definitely.
yeah, the Danger Gals, Honey and Kissy from the Forlorn Dopes.
Yeah.
This stuff would definitely appeal to them. Anybody who's ever like based a character off of Tank Girl, like this stuff appeals to them, and I can see that being an actual successful business, even though it's niche, in the Cyberpunk universe, like completely, 100%, without a doubt. If we've got poser gangs and dudes like grouping up and dressing up like Star Trek characters and being an actual threat to somebody, then we can have this.
Yep. Yeah, so...
And it also has that Judge Dredd feel. Like you could definitely see this being part of the Judge Dredd universe.
Yeah, and for those who are listening, yeah, we don't have a topic tonight. Oh, I already said that, didn't I?
Yeah.
My brain's shot after a week and a half of gaming and drinking. So.
Your brain is sitting in a sea of brine and good times. Mine is just I've started new physical therapy, and I had completely lost track of time because I'm getting electrocuted.
Nice.
I say that I'm being overly dramatic, but it's like I'd had TENS units before, but now they're doing this thing where specifically for spinal and neuropathy relief, they're having me sit with my feet in a large bucket of water. I mean, it's a giant Tupperware thing, and then they're hooking me up to direct current, which sounds kind of horrifying, but in reality, it was really pleasant and is working. But then I go out and overdo it afterwards because I feel better, and hooray. Right. So last night was me suffering the ills of my ill-conceived confidence and living in a hydrocodone-induced stupor the rest of the night because I could barely move. Right. But today I feel okay. So it's working, hopefully, and it feels like it's working. I just have to then not turn around and be all like, oh, nothing hurts. I'm going to go on this walk because then it will hurt.
So I also noticed that since last we talked, they've added several more cast members to the Neuromancer. They got,
oh, really?
Yeah, they got Max Irons, Jeremy Irons' son, to play Gene Tesher-Ashpool. They have yet to see 3 Jane. So they haven't added her yet. And they do have Emma Laird added, but they don't give her a character. Well, she's a cast member. I don't think she's...
Well, I mean, I know she's a cast member. I just... Not somebody I'm familiar with.
Yeah, she's been in nothing that I've seen. So... they also have the Dixie selected, which is Mark Menchaca. He is another person who doesn't have too much behind him. I mean, he was in the TV series Jack Ryan. Says he was in The Creator. Ozarks.
I love both of those products. I think I know who we're talking about, and if so, that's probably a pretty good casting decision.
He was in Black Mirror.
I mean, this is an impressive list of credits, and it's definitely all 3 of them are either Cyberpunk or Cyberpunk adjacent.
Yeah. Yeah, so the only people they haven't... I don't know who Julius Dean is from the book. Because the 2 characters, I haven't seen them with a cast yet, or a actor selected for them is 3 Jane, right? And the Finn.
Yeah, I'm really waiting to see who they get to play the Finn. I think 3 Jane's probably generic enough that they could get anyone to play her.
She's a bit of a psychopath. So.
Sure, but in this day and age, like every actress out there wants to play a psychopath. I mean, the obvious choice would be somebody like Margot Robbie.
Yeah, I don't
think the physical description matches at all.
But I don't think Margot Robbie is going to do an Apple TV.
I don't think she's going to do television at all. No.
Yeah. Well, also not being in the main role of Molly.
Yeah, no. I don't know. As long as they don't go with the chick from Stranger Things who's now in everything, who just can't act to save her life.
From the Electric State, which I have yet to see.
Yeah. Oh my God, that movie's fucking horrible. Like, really? Don't waste your time. It's fucking stupid. Like everyone in the, like, okay, both Chris Pratt and Millie Bobby Brown, that's her name, just phone it in. Like, there's Chris Pratt is just doing Star-Lord, and even then he's like half-assing it. And I don't know, she's done stuff that I've really liked. I liked the Enola Holmes movies. I really enjoyed those. But in this, she's just horrible. Like, every time she's trying to have like an emotional response to something, it just comes across as so flat. And disconnected.
So I know with Electric State, it was kind of like a post-apocalyptic. Is there any cyberpunk-ish that you would say?
I mean, it's definitely cyberpunk. Like, it's okay. The premise of the thing is humanity goes to war with robots. Robots were our servants. We created them for that, and eventually they rebel. They want to be autonomous and have agency and all that. They want to be seen as living beings. So of course humanity goes to war with them, and eventually they all the robots get shunted into like New Mexico or something like that, and it's illegal for them to be outside of New Mexico, and there's like shoot on sight type stuff. And apparently, like during this whole thing, Millie Bobby Brown's little brother, like her family's in a car accident, and like her brother, unknown to her, gets kidnapped, and then her brother shows up, or at least his mind shows up in the body of this robot version of this cartoon character they watched when they were kids, and that starts the whole adventure.
Got it.
Where they've got to go into the robot wasteland to try and find his physical body, and then it's really dumb. It could have been good, and the creator of it, the creator of the show is pretty visionary. He did that. There was that other show that he did that was fantastic, and I can't remember the name of it. But this is just Giancarlo Esposito is in it, and he's completely wasted. Like,
really,
like all the movie itself is just so derivative and so cliche at every given moment that I'm watching it more to enjoy like the cameos that show up in it. Uh, the guy who plays Short Round and who was in Everything Everywhere
Yeah.
All at Once, he's in it and he's interesting, but like his part is stupid. And I don't know. I cannot recommend the movie. It is it's not good from a cyberpunk standpoint. Like it's more adjacent than that.
Right.
Um, like it wants to be cyberpunk. It's just not. Um, I mean, I guess by definition, like there's hacking and there's neural interface and things of that nature. But it's just so dumb. Um, yeah, I can't recommend Electric State at all.
All right. Good to know. Kind of wanted to go watch it. I know it costs quite a bit of money.
Yeah, no, it was ridiculously expensive to make, and you're just watching it going, why did they spend the money on this? But Netflix has a habit of that. They did that movie with The Rock and Ryan Reynolds that they spent ridiculous amounts of money on, and it's about that stupid too.
Yeah, the other thing I'm looking forward to, and I don't know when it's coming out, but Lazarus.
Yeah, Lazarus looks good. I'm looking forward to that. It looks more straightforward. It looks
So, for those who don't
it
know
just
what
looks better.
Lazarus is, it is a anime from the maker of Samurai Champloo and Cowboy Bebop. So you're gonna get a lot of jazz in it, and it definitely has the Asian kind of action set in a cyberpunk future, right? So it's a
Yeah.
guy who creates a disease and a cure. And in order for you to get the cure, you have to go out and find him. And it looks like they have a hacker, solo, probably some other archetypes. They're definitely, and you know that the martial arts scenes are going to be excellent because of
All the combat scenes are going to be phenomenal. I mean, it's one of the best animation studios on the planet, with one of the most innovative creators. I cannot wait for Lazarus. The like Space Dandy, I didn't really enjoy, but my love of Cowboy Bebop, I mean, I think it's the like probably the greatest anime ever made. Like as a franchise. Like the animation isn't better than Akira, but I like the story more. The animation is better than 99% of any other anime out there. Like Space Cowboy Bebop is just number one. It's not necessarily my favorite anime, but it's the best. Just like, you know, yeah. So Lazarus, I'm extremely looking forward to. Here's hoping it's more Cowboy Bebop and less Space Dandy.
yeah, yeah. So CSPO Twitches. I have not seen Mars Express yet, but it is on my radar.
It's on my list as well.
I think because it came out in like Paramount Plus.
Yeah, I haven't been able to find it anywhere where I can watch it because Paramount Plus, like you said. There's only so many streaming services I can afford or have time to look through. And
Exactly.
Yeah, between Hulu, Netflix, Disney, Max, Paramount, Amazon Prime. I mean, there's just so much, and it's Apple TV. Like, I can't get them all. I wish I could.
Shinichi Shinichiro did
Watanabe, yeah.
he did Macro Plus too. Macross Plus.
Macross Plus, yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, no, he's one of my favorite anime directors, creators, showrunners, whatever of all time. Like he's just the tits.
Oh, Mars Express is on Apple TV.
Yeah, again, I don't have Apple TV,
Right.
so I'm gonna miss out on some really cool shit. I already have.
And rented on Amazon, of course. Rental. So it says Fubo, but Fubo is $33 a month.
Yeah.
That better come with a popcorn maker. It's right next to your chair. I mean, Jesus.
I mean, for that much, it better come with a girl to serve me the popcorn and fetch me something from the fridge, cold to drink. Cold beverage, yeah.
Project Obsolete. Another suggestion we're getting from our group.
Oh, I haven't heard anything about Project Obsolete. What's that? Free anime on YouTube, huh? Short episodes, Cyberpunk. I will definitely check that out. Thank you, Twitches. Ceaseful Twitches. I can barely breathe anymore. Oh Lord.
Uh-oh. It's mecha. It's a mecha vibe. I don't know if you'll like it there.
I mean, is it mecha or is it giant robot? Like, what are we talking?
Probably.
Because I mean, technically,
Looks like power
go
armor.
ahead. Yeah, I'm sold. Like, I love me some power armor. I don't like giant robots much anymore, but I love me some power armor. Bubblegum
Granted,
Crisis,
I'm fast forwarding through it.
Maddox 01. I am definitely going to check this out.
Yeah, it looks like power armor.
And if it's good, we will talk about it next episode.
Check it out too. Our last review was Maximum Metal, so
It was indeed.
it'll give us some inspiration to create some more power armor for Cyberpunk. Yeah, definitely we'll check that out. Yeah, so another half hour. Trying to think what else in Cyberpunk news.
Episode or issue 2 of Psycho Squad is out.
Okay.
How
is it so far?
I'm really enjoying it. I think of all the series that have been released so far by Dark Horse, I think this has maybe the cleanest art. It's a story that I don't know. The last story with about the racing really like spoke to me from my gaming experience. So did
oh man, oh god, the ending on that series.
Yeah, it was top notch.
Ending on all these series, man.
Like I've never heard of, like, the writers of this are from people who worked on the game, and they are at top of form with this. Like, just every story has been good. Every story has nailed it. Psycho Squad is probably the one so far. It's the one that's going to be most familiar to people's game experience with 2077. Or Red, for that matter. It's more I don't know. It feels more like my games than the other ones, and the other ones still feel like my games. Don't get me wrong. Um, yeah, I recommend it. I absolutely recommend it. I recommend all the Dark Horse comics for Cyberpunk.
Yep.
And I'm so excited to say that. I'm so excited they still keep putting them out.
Well, there's the other one that came out from in Japan, which was the Edgerunner Madness.
Yeah. I haven't been. It's in Japan though, and I know Dark Horse is planning to release it, but as far as I can tell, they haven't done so
Yeah,
yet.
CSPO Twitches says he does not recommend. Sorry, they.
Uh, I mean, I'm still excited to see it. I have yet to be disappointed in any of the Cyberpunk comic releases, and yeah, I mean, if you're gonna make a prequel for Edgerunners, manga is really the best way to do it. Um, I granted because it's in Japan so far, I haven't seen much about it other than like some quick art previews. But I've enjoyed what I've seen so far.
Yeah.
Um,
FYI, anyone who does a search for Cyber Psycho Squad, do not follow the link to fandom.com. There is some spamware on that site that I just got hit with.
oh, yeah, don't do that.
So
I was thinking you were going to start talking about, there's some fan art type
well,
stuff.
well, I went to Google it, and basically it says I went to the first link, which was cyberpunk.fandom.com/wiki. Right?
That sounds super sketchy.
Yeah. Well, guess what? The first link that it came up for me is I was like navigating the site. You got a little McGaffey saying, "Hey, McGaffey found this thing," and I'm like, that's interesting. I don't have McGaffey on my machine. So you're trying to make me click somewhere on this page to clear the screen.
Yeah, that's some bullshit right there. Let me tell you. Got to avoid that.
That's the other thing I don't like a lot about the fan wikis is there's so much advertisement.
There's so much advertisement. I don't like how fan wikis are just this generation's GeoCities.
Yeah.
Except never as interesting. Like sometimes I just want like a page that was made with love by somebody who just loves the subject matter and is throwing their own thing on there. Wikis all come across the same, and like I love encyclopedias. I love it. I love Wikipedia. I love that kind of thing. I like the Cyberpunk wiki. But having every new website come out be another wiki, it's just really unimaginative.
Right.
Like, does the small, like, even if I were to put my site on as a wiki, like I don't think there'd be enough information there to remain interesting. And I've got the largest cyberpunk site in the world, and I don't think it would make a good wiki.
I think that Cyberpunk 2077 wiki site might have more information on it than yours. Close, but
No, it might have more information about. It might have more like encyclopedia information,
right?
But it doesn't have source books on there.
Right. Well, it does. Well,
it doesn't have.
Your source books, right? Fan-made content.
I mean, it doesn't have like long original written projects. It's just got encyclopedic information, and that's cool and all that. But at the end of the day, it's an encyclopedia. That's the job it's doing. It's reference material as opposed to like original content.
Right.
And I've seen some original content wikis, and they're all like, I don't know, they either feel too small or they're really loosely organized. I'm not a fan. But then again, I'm an old man, and I My site looks old. I haven't updated it in a while. So maybe I'm just an old man shaking his fist at the sky, talking about there are wolves out here.
You know, the good
And
old
it's
days.
cold.
Back when we had web rings.
Yeah, web rings, some Alta Vista.
I'm going to contact you on ICQ.
I've still got ICQ. 5730404.
That's how we used to communicate.
Yeah, that's in the old days. Like just after we got over like strings on cans, we had ICQ. Before
Right
before
after.
Yahoo, before AOL Instant Messenger, there was ICQ. ICQ and page specific chat rooms.
AOL.
Yeah. Oh, and of course Usenet. Can't forget Usenet. Got to have your news groups.
MRC. MIRC.
Oh
Yeah.
Lord.
Talking
Man,
about the
we're really
old stuff
shaking
now.
We're really shaking the cobwebs
Oh my
off the keyboard. I'm lifting out the keys and pulling out the like crumbs from 1997 out of here.
Yeah, you know, back in '95, during the web rush, I picked
When
up my
Windows
donkey.
95 was the new exciting. What? I don't have to boot up into DOS anymore? Oh my god.
I had a mule and a Commodore 64. I was able to get out there, explore the new frontier. Yep, that's what we used to do.
I've got 20 kilobytes of memory. I'm rocking.
That's all you need. That's all you need. 128 or 64. Forget what Bill Gates said. Something crazy. Well, you only need 128K for anything. That's the maximum you'll ever need. Okay,
Yeah,
Bill.
yeah.
Now we're into. We're above petabytes. I forget what this thing is. After petabytes.
I don't know. It's all too much for me to like gigabytes or something ridiculous. Boggle bytes. Becajillo bytes, something. I don't know. It's too much. No matter what it is, ever, I will still run out of storage regardless.
All right, the new one is exabyte, which is above a petabyte.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Gigabytes are small.
We are still looking. We are still looking into what we're going to do with Shadowscar. How the logistics of a live play or an actual play, and or maybe an interview with Cody and Terabella. But it's been a pretty hectic last couple of weeks, and we haven't really made any progress with either of those things.
Yeah.
The biggest problem with the with scheduling a live play or actual play type thing is one, schedule, and two, like my online gaming group has kind of fallen apart. Like we still talk, but we haven't actually gamed
Quite a
in
while. Yeah.
like 2 years now.
Someday.
Someday, not because we don't want to, just like
Scheduling.
me and Will and Joe are here in the States, and John is in Australia, and uh,
Yeah, we got to figure out a time, even like once a month, and just stick to like doing once a month. But yeah, Australia is the tough one. I mean, if you do it late at night,
Australia is the tough one.
so you'd have to do it
Um,
Friday night in the U.S. or Saturday night because that will be Australian morning.
yeah, and while you and I are old and you're married and I just have no life, uh, Joe's still young and going out and doing stuff. Trying to get him to give up his Friday nights might be asking a bit much.
Yeah, so
Um,
so for me with my gaming is I'm running two games. One is Cyberpunk, and I'm looking to I'm starting the end of a very long campaign. I've been running the High Rider campaign for the past year and a half, and I'm starting to okay, I need to end this because it's all building up to the 7 hour war. So that is getting close to completion. So 7 hour war is probably going to be a few sessions, but it's something I definitely want to finish up because I'm starting to feel a little burnt out with that. I'm
yeah,
also running a Call of Cthulhu campaign, Mask of Nyarlathotep, which the party is currently in Egypt, so they are barely halfway through that campaign book. It has been a very that has been around. So I've been running that for at least 2 years, maybe three. Um, so yeah, and I'm in two games, a Pathfinder game and a Traveler game. And then I have
yeah.
then I have a wife in the house and regular job and
I mean, if we do decide to go the actual play route,
yeah.
we may have to reach out to you guys in our audience. Anybody who's interested in like gaming super late at night and trying out Shadow Scar,
Yeah,
drop us a message.
and it'd probably be towards the weekend. Um,
Yeah, it would definitely be a weekend type thing.
or Friday night if you're
Yeah,
in the
Friday,
States.
Saturday, maybe Sunday night. Because again, coordinating schedules is it's the bane of my existence.
Yep.
Uh,
So for a show about nothing, we filled up quite a bit of time.
yeah, we did okay off the cuff here. I'm not too displeased. Um, I really liked the information about Adepticon, mostly because I have to live vicariously through you when it comes to conventions anymore. Um, Man, I miss having disposable income. Uh, but yeah, no, that con sounded super fun. I'm very excited you got to go. I'm very happy to hear of your experiences there. They need to. Here's my thing. They need to make Combat Zone digital, like some kind of digital accessibility here. Because I want to play it, but none of the people I play with in real life can get together to play it. Like real life schedules are just as messy as online schedules. It's all a farce.
Well, like
Uh,
for combat combat zone, I believe there is a plugin for Tabletop Simulator. I have not
oh yeah,
worked with that particular software. I've done Roll20 and um,
yeah. I've done Roll20, but that's really about it.
I was looking into Foundry, but Foundry was like a Unix, meaning I have to do a lot of configurations before I can actually play with the game. But that's just my view. I'd like it to be smoother. I've worked on the 2020 plugin for Foundry, but and then you have the Nexus, which I'm interested in taking a look at what that has to offer. I haven't been able to get a chance to play around with it yet.
I don't remember which one it is, but the one that Joe plays with.
Oh, Tablespire?
Yeah, Joe is Citizen X. If you're part of the Cyberpunk 2020 online community and have been for a while, you probably know who he is. But yeah, Citizen X. He plays with what now? What'd you say it was?
Tablespire, I think.
Yeah, the things he's doing with that
Tailspire,
are
yeah.
mind blowing.
Yeah, with the 3D maps.
3D maps,
Yeah.
movable, like animated avatars that.
But it doesn't have the game plugins, right? Which I don't think it has, like the dice rolling and rule integration. But I could be wrong. Probably need to talk with him, see where that's at.
Yeah, I would assume that it's got to have some kind of dice roller. If not, I mean, using it in conjunction with Roll20 would not be terrible. Um, Hell, when we were doing it, we were using Discord for the chat and Roll20 for like the actual game descriptions and maps and dice rolling. So it's not like using two programs would be that upsetting to me. No stranger to that. But yeah, just scheduling, regardless of whether it's real life or over the internet, it kills me on both ends.
Yeah.
That's the problem with getting old, is we just don't have the energy or time that we used to. It used to be I could, work a 16-hour shift and come home and game all night and go back to work the next day and excited and bushy tailed. I didn't
That's
even care.
why role playing is younger man's
Yeah. I mean,
game.
or, just game for like 48 hours straight. Like, pulled off some of those too, man. Those are the greatest. Role playing on car trips. Like, the last time I did that, I ran Cyberpunk for our 16-hour drive to Colorado. And then again on the way back. There's no time for this kind of stuff anymore.
Yeah.
People have families, people have children.
Yep.
They have careers that they actually care about, as opposed to working at the Pizza Hut.
The kids out there, enjoy your youth.
Enjoy that shit while you've got it. If you're still in high school, living with your parents, make the most of that shit before you have responsibilities in life. But yeah, no. We very much are still interested in doing this. It is in the plans. We just have to figure out how to make it work.
Yes, don't waste time gaming. Unless you want to escape, then by all means, game.
I was gonna say, don't waste time having like
relationships,
wife and children. Yeah, like don't get a job you care about. Don't have a wife and kid. They'll just eat into your game time, and you'll become a bitter old man like me, who doesn't have time and is just bitter about other people having like wife and kids and jobs they love.
Exactly.
Or jobs they can stand anyway.
Well, my advice is live a full life. Enjoy gaming. Definitely go out there and party.
To quote Maine, life is a banquet and most poor suckers are starving to death.
Yes.
Because that's the Cyberpunk reference, not in the slightest.
Right. All right, man. What conventions were you talking? Oh, I was at Adepticon Red9 or Re9. So I played in the Combat Zone tournament that Monster Fight Club sponsored. I was by no means even close
Holy
to winning.
crap! Youth is wasted on the young.
So
It's a Wonderful Life reference. That's even
yeah.
older than my main stuff.
So re9, just go and listen to the first hour of the
Yeah,
podcast, which I talk about a lot of the combat zone. That was pretty much almost all of our episode. We didn't have too much of a topic tonight, so mainly because I just got back from Adepticon yesterday.
and I lost
Yeah,
complete track of what day it was.
exactly.
I didn't realize we were doing a podcast today until 20 minutes before we were doing the podcast.
Well,
I thought I had another week.
2 weeks from now, we will be doing a podcast, and you have a guest coming. Not too
It's a
much.
surprise.
Red
So
Nine. Um, Combat Zone, or sorry, Monster Fight Club is putting out a couple new gang packs. One for Militech and for some of the Nomads. They didn't necessarily specify specific families for Nomads, but I assume it'll be the Aldecados, if not Skaven. Not Skaven. Wait, sorry, Depticon. A lot of Warhammer, so Skaven was on the mind. Shivan. Not yet, but again, go back and listen. I gotta wake up early tomorrow for my first day of work back in the office. So from a week and a
no,
half. I know. Damn you, money.
part of
Making
that
me
real life
try to
stuff I
earn
was
it.
telling people to avoid.
Exactly.
Um,
So, all right, man. So that's it. So you can come check me out on my site. Like I said, my site, I've added the Combat Zone Army Builder underneath Cyberpunk Red. I talked to Monster Fight Club. They've given me full blessing. I just need to go in, fix a lot of the bugs that are still currently out there. Also need to add in a lot of the data specifically for the edgerunners, as well as some of the new packs or gangs that I have just gotten the cards for. So I will be updating the site with that. So cybersmily.net, and go check that out along with a bunch of other Cyberpunk utilities. I still got to do a lot more on that site. Again, my time. I've been gaming too much. I need to pull back my gaming. Also, I'm on the various Reddits. I also have my own Discord server, as well as Cybernation's Uncensored Discord, which I hang out on. There's a bunch of other Discords that I hang out. Artalsorian, Monster Fight Club, Derek's. There's also a few of the West Marches Discords that I kind of like linger. Occasionally lurk about. So, and also on Reddit, going always checking out the Cyberpunk 2020 as well as Cyberpunk Red, and now Combat Zone Reddit threads. I'm there. Also, I have a Blue Sky. I don't know how prolific I'm going to be on Blue Sky, but I am there. And I do kind of occasionally go and look there. So that's it for me.
all right. I am the co-host. I am Wisdom000. My name is Derek Bernier. I run Datafortress2020.com. In addition, you can find me at the Datafortress 2020 Facebook group, the Cyberpunk 2020 Facebook group, and of course, Cyberpunk Unlimited or Uncensored. And we'd like to thank Cyberpunk Uncensored and Rob Mulligan for hosting us. You can also find me on Reddit, where I mostly lurk, as well as the Cyberpunk Discords. Not as many as Will's part of, but I'm up there. I also tend to lurk with either on Reddit or Discord. I'll occasionally snipe in some posts and make some comments. But if you're looking for me, you can find me there. Not on not on Instagram, not on Twitch or whatever he's calling it now. I am on Blue Sky, although it's very minimal interaction right now, as I'm still trying to figure out how to make it work right for me.
Yeah, same here. I know Jay Gray posts a lot there as well. So,
as always, if we love to hear from you. If you have any comments, criticisms, suggestions, complaints, ideas, anything, reach out to us. Feel free to. We just love talking Cyberpunk, period, both the franchise and and just in general as a genre. We love hearing from you. If you've got a line on a possible interesting interview subject, we'd love to hear that as well. And like Will said, we'll be back in 2 weeks on the 17th. What's today? 16th. Yeah, we'll be back on the 16th. And we look forward to seeing you then. Thank you very much for joining us.
thank you. Till then, bye.
Adios.
Cybernation has